During a ring toss game, my hand slipped, landing a ring right on the school beauty who was standing by watching the commotion. I was so embarrassed I wanted the earth to swallow me whole. So I threw another ring, but unbelievable as it was, it landed right on the golden cat she was cradling. The stall owner chimed in, hype as ever. Young man, you're clearly aiming for that pretty girl, aren't you? Today, whatever you land a ring on at my stall, you get to take it home. The school beauty blushed furiously, shoving the cat into my arms. You can take the cat, but you can't take the person. Who would have guessed that later on? The school beauty would be gritting her teeth, tossing that same chunky cat hogging my bed right out the door. You landed the ring on me first. Tell this annoying little creature to beat it. I'm the one who belongs to you. Rewind to the Spring Festival Temple Fair. The ring toss booth was packed to the brim with not a single gap in the crowd. Mostly young guys hanging around just to check out pretty girls. I squeezed into the crowd to check out the hype, and immediately spotted the school Ice Queen by Ningbing, lazily leaning her gorgeous figure against the railing. In her arms, she was cradling a huge golden cat. She casually tossed a bamboo ring, landing it with pinpoint accuracy. Bullseye after bullseye with every single throw. Every time she hit a target, the surrounding crowd erupted into loud cheers. Seeing the plastic bag at her feet, already stuffed to the brim with loot, the stall owner sweat profusely, grabbing her hand to stop her. Pretty lady, please have mercy on a humble businessman like me. I bought a whole 50 rings, and I've only thrown 20 so far. No worries, I'll refund all your remaining money. Seeing by Ningbing remained dead silent, the stall owner offered a friendly laugh to ease the tension. Mainly, we gotta leave. A little fun and experience for other players too, right? Saying that, his tiny bead-like eyes scanned the crowd and locked right onto me as his target. Hey, handsome guy. Over there. He's been watching for a while now. His hands must be itching to play. Why don't you let him have a turn? Just as he finished speaking, Bai Ningbing slowly turned her head around, her eyes locking onto me. As our eyes met, I instinctively took half a step back, pretending not to see the stall owner's desperate cry for help. Go ahead, keep playing. Bai Ningbing let out a soft chuckle, shoving the remaining bundle of bamboo rings directly into my chest. It's on my dime. Go ahead and play. With that said, she hugged the big cat and casually stepped to the side, under the intense gaze of countless staring eyes. I couldn't just ruin the school beauty's pride, so I had no choice but to bite the bullet and throw the first ring miss. The second ring landed with absolute precision right onto the loot stuff bag at Bai Ningbing's feet. The third ring didn't stray off course either, landing squarely on the neck of the giant cat, cradled in Bai Ningbing's arms. The fourth ring flew straight over the school beauty's head, falling short of her neck and getting caught right on her hair bun. I gulped hard, feeling guilty as hell, reaching out my hand to retrieve the ring. If I said I really didn't do that on purpose, would you believe me? Whether Bai Ningbing actually believed me or not, I had no clue, but the hype crowd cheering around us clearly didn't buy it for a second. From somewhere deep in the crowd, someone suddenly shouted at the top of their lungs, whatever you land the ring on, you get to take it home. The chaotic crowd of onlookers, always eager for drama, instantly started chanting in unison, take her home, bro. Nice aim. I can tell you were totally targeting the pretty girl on purpose. Take her home. Take her home. Take her home. My ears flushed bright red from embarrassment, and I didn't even dare to look straight into Bai Ningbing's eyes. Take this off for me. Right away, I fumbled in a panic to take the bamboo ring off her head. In the very next second, a giant fluffy fur ball was dumped straight into my arms. I looked down to see Bai Ningbing's cat, staring right into my eyes with a completely bewildered look on its face. Bai Ningbing casually twirled a bamboo ring in her hand, her lips curling into a breathtaking smile. You can take the cat, but as for the person, out of the question. I choked on my own spit and coughed violently, nodding blindly like an idiot. That goes without saying. I completely understand. The moment those words left my mouth, I wanted to slap myself hard across the face. Understand my foot. Was it even my place to speak on this? Seeing that Bai Ningbing, stop teasing me. She tossed the pile of prizes I had just won straight at my feet and turned around to walk away without a second thought. The golden cat in my arms stared at the cold, heartless back of its owner walking away. letting out a series of miserable, heartbreaking wails. This pitiful meow was so tragic that even a grown man like me felt it was getting. Cursing her out. By the time I got home, my mom was busy playing mahjong. Taking advantage of her distraction, I zipped up my jacket, snuck the cat inside, and stealthily retreated to my bedroom. Your mom wouldn't actually abandon you for real, right? I rubbed its massive head affectionately. If my mom caught wind of this, she would 100 kick both me and this cat straight out of the house. Luckily, this cat was ridiculously smart. Realizing it was relying on someone else's generosity, it completely ditched its trash-talking attitude from earlier. Instead, it put on a needy, high-pitched meow, relentlessly rubbing its fluffy head against the palm of my hand. All right, take it easy. Don't worry, big bro here. We'll definitely not let you wander the streets. I pulled out my phone and asked around in our class group chat, yet not a single soul had. By Ningbing's WeChat, driven into a corner, I had no choice but to post on our school's confession wall page to try my luck. Don't ask why. In this trash school of mine, the confession wall page was the ultimate supreme power. As a result, the entire school blew up that day. The very first brave warrior of the year to dare confess to the Ice Queen School Beauty had officially emerged, just as everyone pulled up a chair to watch the drama unfold, eagerly waiting for Bai Ningbing to hit me with the dreaded friend zone card in the comment section. The legend herself replied directly with just 2 words, inbox me. At that moment, every single gossip chat group completely lost their minds, while I was left totally stunned, because right after Bai Ningbing accepted my friend request, the very first message she sent me was, if you liked me, why didn't you just say it to my face that day? My head filled with massive question marks. I liked who? Since when? What was I supposed to say to her face? I scratched my head frantically, furiously stroking the cat's fur to ease my sheer panic before hurriedly typing out my explanation. Im Fan Yuan. Since I really couldn't find her WeChat, I had no choice but to resort to this desperate move. About your cat. When you plan on coming to pick it up? The moment the message sent, the status at the bottom of the chat instantly shifted to typing. And this typing status dragged on for excruciatingly long half-hour. I glued my eyes to the screen so hard my tears almost started welling up, wondering if she was typing out an entire novel, or perhaps a hit list to destroy me. Since you landed the ring on it, it belongs to you now. Reading this sentence, man, why was it so easily misunderstood? I let out 2 awkward dry coughs and typed back rather stiffly. However, normally, my mom really dislikes keeping furry pets. Bai Ningbing Shatat in the Fet replied with a lonely string of ellipses. After a short pause, she sent over another line. I'll come over to pick it up in 2 days. Only then did I let out a long sigh of relief. No problem at all. For the next 2 days, Big Bro here will serve it hand and foot, fattening it up nice and plump just for you. All right, what's this cat's name anyway? After a long delay, the school beauty finally sent a brief voice message. It was barely 2 seconds long, so I casually tapped to play it. Fong Yuan. This cat's name is Fong Yuan. My eyes bulged out in absolute shock, not quite ready to give up. I held down the voice note to convert it into text. There was no way it was actually such a crazy coincidence, right? The school beauty's cat and I share the exact same name. It had to be a homophone. I definitely misheard it. I didn't dare bring up the offensive confession wall post ever again, hurriedly crawling into bed. The cat named Fong Yuan jumped up after me with total natural ease, plopping its fat, heavy butt right on top of my stomach. Good Lord, was this cat raised on a diet of pure iron? Or raw barbells? It's literally crushing me to death. During the New Year holidays, with tons of relatives visiting our home, I kept this feline emperor hidden inside my room for 2 whole days. Without my mom ever finding out, I hunted down an old cardboard box and poured some rice inside to serve as a makeshift litter box for it. It was the type of cat that was happy as long as it got food. Not picky in the slightest. Its one and only bad habit was that every single night at midnight, it would crawl straight into my blanket, acting just like a scorching radiator, heating me up so much I broke out in beads of sweat. Late that night, feeling thoroughly parched, I groggily stumbled out of bed to get a drink of water, deciding to crack open the window for some fresh air while I was at it. As a result, the second I glanced out toward the balcony I spotted a dark figure squatting right there. Holy crap. Startled out of my mind, I panicked and hastily took several steps back, grabbing a clothes hanger from the corner of the wall, ready to go all in for a fight. Under the corner of the wall, preparing to go all in for a bloody showdown. Yet surprisingly, my wrist was suddenly grabbed by that person. It's me. Why didn't you turn on the lights? Why the hell would I turn on the lights while sleeping in the middle of the night? Who could have guessed you'd go climbing through the window in the dead of night like this? Are your clothes all put on? I'm fully dressed. So what on earth do you want to do? Right after those words left my mouth, Bai Ningbing used both hands to give a gentle push, somersaulting right into my room. Honestly, it was the exact mirror image of that fat royal feline that always loves leaping onto my bed in the middle of the night, landing on the floor without making a single sound. Where's the cat? I turned around, locking the bedroom door tightly, switched on the small night light at the head of the bed, and flicked my chin toward the bed. Bai Ningbing stepped forward, yanking the blanket wide open. The cat jolted, shivering, squinting its sleepy eyes naturally to shoot her a sharp glare, and, right after that, decisively closed its eyes tight, playing dead to keep sleeping. She was tickled to laughter by the cat's hilarious expression. Living at your place, it really gets to enjoy luxury. And live the high life, huh? Its stomach is tough, so it's pretty easy to raise. Now that you're holding this huge burden, can you climb back out the same way you came? Bai Ningbing didn't say a word, reaching her hand out directly to grab it upside down by the scruff of its neck. The fat cat instantly began thrashing violently, all four paws kicking around madly, letting out a grieved meow while staring toward me. Be good for me. Whether you go with your dad or your mom, isn't it all the exact same? Is anyone actually going to let you starve to death? Mom and Dad, what now? Hearing that, I awkwardly reached up to scratch my nose, try my best to swallow those words right back into my stomach. I had no idea how to respond to diffuse this awkward standoff, but the campus bell didn't seem ready to let me off the hook just yet. Fang Yuan. Huh, what's up? I replied absent-mindedly, only then realizing she might have actually been calling the cat. I instantly turned away, burning with embarrassment. Fang Yuan has been raised so well by you, hasn't he? Thanks. I waved my hand awkwardly. It's no big deal. However, Bai Ningbing slightly curled the corner of her lips. I told you before. Whichever item you hit with the ring, you get to keep. Now that I've taken the cat back, how about you pick another prize to take home instead? Bai Ningbing stared at me with a playful smirk on her face. Bai Ningbing smirked at me with a sly, knowing grin. Yet suddenly my wrist was firmly grabbed by that figure. It's me. Why didn't you turn on the lights? Why on earth would I turn on the lights while sleeping at midnight? Who could have guessed you'd go climbing through the window in the dead of night like this? Did you get dressed properly? I'm fully dressed. What on earth are you trying to do? Just as the words left my mouth, Bai Ningbing gave a soft shove with both hands, somersaulting right into my room. Honestly, she acted exactly like that fat feline emperor that always jumped onto my bed in the middle of the night, landing on the floor without making a single sound. Where's the cat? I turned around, deadbolting my bedroom door tight, and turned on the small night light by the headboard, jerking my chin toward the bed. Bai Ningbing stepped forward and whipped the blanket open. The cat started violently, shivering, squinting its sleepy eyes to glare at her for a second, before resolutely shutting its eyes tight, playing dead to go back to sleep. She was utterly amused by the cat's ridiculous expression, bursting into laughter. Looks like living at your place has been pretty cushy and luxurious. For him, huh? He's got a solid stomach, and he's super easy to raise, with you holding such a heavy dead weight. Can you really climb back out the same way you came in? Bai Ningbing didn't say a single word, directly reaching out to scruff him by the back of his neck. The fat cat immediately began flailing frantically, all four paws kicking wild in the air, as he let out a pitiful, aggrieved meow looking right at me. Behave yourself for me. Whether you follow your dad or your mom, isn't it basically the exact same thing? Is someone really going to let you starve to death, or what? Dad or mom, what now? Hearing that, I awkwardly scratched my nose, desperately trying to swallow those words back into my stomach. I had no clue how to respond to save myself from this extreme level of awkwardness, but the school beauty didn't seem ready to let me off the hook just yet. Fang Yuan. Huh? What's up? I instinctively blurted out, only to realize a second later she might have been calling the cat. Instantly dying of embarrassment, I averted my gaze elsewhere. Fang Yuan has been taken care of so well by you. Thanks. I waved my hand awkwardly. It was no big deal. Yet, Bai Ningbing slightly curled the corners of her lips into a smirk. Didn't I tell you before? Whatever you land the ring on, you get to take home. Now that I'm taking the cat back, why don't you pick another item to take home instead? You better be telling me the truth. With me, if I catch you pulling any sneaky business in the dead of night. Oh, 8 character tile. Boom, winning hand right here, let's go. I was rendered completely speechless. So who on earth was the one boastfully declaring they were waiting for a full flush just a second ago? Just as I planned to sneak back into my room to sleep in a bit more. As I passed by Annie Zhang, she didn't even bother looking up before casually blurting out, "Hey now, this kid is looking pretty sharp today, huh? What kind of perfume are you wearing? Smells amazing." Zap! My mom's eyes and the other aunties at the card table instantly lock onto me like glaring spotlights, scanning me up and down. I played it cool, pulling on my sleeve to give it a sniff. Smells like something? Must be because I switched to a new body wash yesterday. Why would a guy like me be wearing perfume anyway? Auntie Zhang didn't pay it any further mind. Well then, that body wash scent must be pretty high-end. I forced a laugh and went along with it for a bit, then quickly dashed back into my beloved room at top speed. I hurriedly unlocked the window to vent out the room's lingering scent. Seriously, what kind of perfume was Bai Ningbing using for real? How could the scent stay for so damn long? Even a rough, unrefined guy like me felt like buying a bottle. As my thoughts drifted aimlessly, my finger accidentally tapped on the voice message she sent the other day. That shy, soft, and unbelievably gentle voice. Hearing it actually made my heart flutter just a little bit. I was closing my eyes, soaking in the moment when I snapped them wide. Open, staring right back at me was a big, bright, round pair of cat eyes. It caught me completely off guard. Since I had just opened the window earlier, this little menace must have nimbly leaped right back inside. The moment its paws hit the floor, it even let out a needy meow. Why the heck did you fly back over here again? Where's your mom? I casually scooped it up, hurriedly locking my phone screen. For some reason, I felt embarrassingly caught red-handed. The feline emperor was scooped up, sprawled out on its back, in my arms, gradually sinking into pure bliss under my top tier 5-star petting skills. Yet the moment I brought up its owner, it instantly rejected the thought, flicking its tail to the side and closing its eyes to ignore me completely. I was totally helpless against this little menace. What a heartless creature. Whoever feeds you really becomes your biological mom, huh? Just as I was about to grab my phone to text Bai Ningbing and tell her to come pick up this little menace, there was a sudden rap-tap-tap at the door. Good grief, like cat, like owner. Neither of them ever walks through the front door like a normal person, always insisting on sneaking through sneaky little side openings. I pressed my nose against the glass pane and snickered. Yep, that familiar, refreshing, tangy mandarin scent. What are you standing there zoned out for? She tapped on the glass again, gesturing right at the spot where my face was pressed up against it. Is Fang Yuan hiding at your place again? I unlatched the window to let her leap inside. The second the feline emperor spotted his owner, he immediately made a run for it, tucking his tail and crawling straight under the makeshift cardboard litter box, refusing to come out no matter what. Bai Ningbing let out a hopeless sigh. This morning he caught me accidentally handing out extra treats to some stray cats outside. This little brat got jealous, threw a full-blown tantrum, and ran away from home. Classic. Sure enough, I noticed scattered white fur clinging to Bai Ningbing's sleek black jacket. Obviously belonged to a white cat. Seeing this, the feline emperor feigned immense betrayal, scurrying over to rub against my legs. Meow. I instinctively leaned down and scooped him up into my arms. Who dare pick on you, huh? Look how pitiful you look. Meow. Your mom is a total heartless player. How could she go around flirting with other cats outside? Utterly scandalous. Meow. Bai Ningbing finally couldn't hold it in anymore and burst into giggles, leaving both me and the cat staring at her in complete stun. My bad, I just felt like this whole situation looks exactly like a... My male instinct screamed a warning sign. Some dangerously teaseful words were about to drop from her lips. I hastily put on my guard to shut it down. Looks like what? Bai Ningbing extended a delicate finger and flicked the cat's forehead with a sharp snap. A loving father and his devoted son. Holy crap, if she's the cat's mom, and I'm its dad, doesn't that mean she's indirectly flirting with me? My mouth froze shut, my face petrified like a solid slab of rock. Now, take your cheating dad evidence. And beat it, I still need to get some sleep. Bai Ningbing reached out to take the white cat, asking me offhandedly, "Did you suffer from insomnia yesterday? Was it because of me?" Seeing her hand reaching out to grab the feline emperor, paternal instincts kicked in, and I pulled the cat tight into my arms. I raised my voice, desperately trying to mask my embarrassment. "Stop putting a gold medal on your own chest. It was because my mom was playing mahjong and screaming her head off all night. Don't go jumping to conclusions." All right. Whatever you say." The corner of Bai Ningbing's lips curled up in a teasing smirk. "So, handsome guy, can you return my cat to me now? Every single time I go head-to-head with this girl, Bai Ningbing, I'm always the one who ends up losing." Just as I was about to loosen my grip and let him go, this little menace decided to activate his rebellious streak, wriggling right out of my arms and darting straight onto the bed. With a flick of his tail, he slapped my phone right onto the floor with a loud thud. Bai Ningbing bent down to pick it up, and right then, my passcode-free phone automatically lit up its screen. She stared intently at the screen, her eyebrows raised in sheer amusement. Suddenly a sound erupted. It was that voice message, both insanely familiar and fatally sensitive. Fang Yuan. This cat's name is Fang Yuan. Sensing imminent disaster, I immediately reached out to snatch it back. She triumphantly dodged and hit me with a straight-up flex. "Fang Yuan, first you try to charm me, and in the middle of the night, you're secretly replaying my voice recordings? Be real with me. Are you, perhaps, trying to pursue me?" I snatched my cheap phone right back with a swift tug. Without even looking in a mirror, I knew that at this exact moment, my ears were bright red as a beet. Bai Ningbing leaned back against the wall with both arms crossed, acting totally innocent, as if she had no idea what was going on, when she was clearly mocking me right to my face. Swallowing my bitter embarrassment, I forced out each word tersely to explain, "Actually, knock knock." The bedroom door was banged on repeatedly, and my mom's signature, loud, yelling blasted right through. "Fang Yuan, broad daylight, and you're hold up and they're doing what? Get out here and see any Zhang off right now. Sitting in there being lazy as hell." That voice was literally a life-saving lifeline to me. I took a deep breath and shouted back, "I'm coming right out." Frantically lunging forward to grab the cat, I shoved it firmly into Bai Ningbing's arms. "Hurry." I shoved it firmly into Bai Ningbing's hand. "Hurry. Hurry it up. Quick. Get your legs moving. If my mom catches us like this, she's gonna flip her lid and lose her damn mind." Bai Ningbing cooperated fully, slipping out through the window, right before her body slid down past the sill. She lowered her voice to tease me right to my face. "Fang Yuan, don't you think this situation right now feels like we're having a secret, forbidden affair?" I was so shocked, I turned to stone, clenching my jaw tight as I muttered, "Get out." I swung my leg out and gave her a hard kick. Defeated, the cat litter scoop got knocked all the way into the bed, messing up my own hair. I pretended to be groggy with half-lidded eyes as if I'd just woken up. Heading over to unlock the door, Mom. I was just taking a quick nap. The electric laser eyes of my mom aggressively scanned every corner of my room before finally locking her sights right onto me. "Why is that sweet fragrance in your room even stronger than before?" I almost passed out and frothed at the mouth on the spot. Hurriedly grabbing her shoulders, I pushed her backward out the room. "Go send the ants off quickly. What strange fragrance could there possibly be? It's probably just a new fabric softener I used that has a strong scent." It was with great difficulty that I managed to coax and lure the ants away. Exhausted like a battered ghost, I slammed my lifeless body onto the bed and checked my phone, only to find Bai Ningbing had already sent several messages in a row. "Fang Yuan, you ungrateful, heartless jerk." The moment it got home, it started scratching at the door and throwing a tantrum to go back. "I think it probably wants to return to your place. Do you want to just adopt it permanently? Looking at it right now, it doesn't seem like it wants to stay with me anymore." Followed by a series of voice notes lasting about 2 minutes, all filled with the catastrophic, dramatic wails of the feline lord. On top of that, The girl conveniently attached a crystal-clear photo, showing it literally glued to the edge of the door, stubbornly throwing a fit to leave. Seeing that dorky, pathetic look, the compassion deep inside me was stirred, and I timidly typed back a few hesitant replies, but my mom is the ultimate hater when it comes to pets. Bai Ningbing instantly dropped her ultimate secret weapon. Just make up a pitiful, tragic backstory. Parents are super easy to sway with stuff like that. She'll definitely soften up. Now you're suddenly not calling me Fong Yuan every 2 seconds. Huh? Grit my teeth and brace for impact. Fine then. I'll do my best to use my silver tongue to persuade my mom and see how it goes. Summoning every ounce of my courage, with remote tactical guidance from the resident expert, I began cooking up a dramatic backstory about the muddy, tragic past of a poor, pitiful stray cat. Bai Ningbing suddenly popped in to egg me on again. Do you want me to use editing apps to trim away its excess fat? It looks as thick as a deep-fried spring roll right now. Do you really think your mom will buy it? I hurriedly pounded on my keyboard to stop her. No, 1,000 chimisno. Don't Photoshop it. Leave it to me. I've got more than enough skills to handle my own mom. While we were chatting, a short voice note suddenly popped up, the soft meow meow of a needy little cat. Instead of replying, I took a deep breath, preparing to rehearse my lines in my head to counter. My old lady, before slapping a tragic, desperate expression onto my face and charging straight into her lair. Mom, it's poor, wretched fate. How could it possibly be this heartbreaking? My old lady didn't even deign to give me half a glance, recklessly swinging her feather duster right toward my head. It's the brand new spring of the year, and you're in here howling like a bad omen. Are your bones itching for a beating, you little brat? At this point, I didn't even need to force any emotions. Tears welled up in my eyes naturally, painting a tragic picture. Mom, you've misunderstood me. I was talking about the cat. I frantically pulled up the photo that Bai Ningbing had edited to make the little troublemaker look skin and bones skinny with a tiny chin. It's a cat my buddy rescued from a pile of trash. The dorm's supervisor would rather kill it than let him keep it inside. It's so timid and lonely, Mom. When it was wandering the streets, it was chased away and trampled on by other animals under the blistering sun. Looking at its fragile body, not everyone is as blessed as I am to have a kind, gentle mother like you. How could a poor thing like that ever know true happiness? It's stranded, all alone with the new year right around the corner, without even half a leaf to stuff into its hungry mouth. Because of that, you're the only universe in its entire life. Mom, please show some mercy and adopt. Cut out those ridiculous thoughts. Right now, my mom ruthlessly chopped off my long, melodramatic presentation. Raising a household-destroying scoundrel like you is already more than enough. Your adoptive mother raising a whole leeching, family-ruining degenerate like you should be reason enough to lie low, suffering for me. The second you drag this useless burden into my home, I'll gladly kick both of your butts out to join the Beggars Guild. I immediately shifted my strategy, pivoting on the spot. It's cool, I've got a plan B. Hey, Mom, how about we both compromise a little bit, huh? Let's just say we let the little guy crashing here for just 2 short days. Once my buddy manages to contact someone else to step in, it'll vanish in an instant. It won't stay around to be an eyesore for you. My mom curled her lips into a triumphant, smug smirk. Your little clown show. No matter how dramatically you perform it. Do you really think I don't see right through you? Let me tell you straight up. Not a chance in hell, got it? Don't try your sneaky advance to retreat tactics on me. Now, get the hell out of my room. My mom was truly a woman possessing a heart of cold steel. As relentless as a butcher's cleaver in the wet market, I dragged my heavy, gloomy steps, sulking as I trudged out. Right at that moment, I bumped straight into my dad, who had just gotten back. My eyes instantly lit up bright and brilliant, as if I had just latched onto a literal lifeline. Dad, my dearest biological father. My dad gave a gentle, kindly smile, fumbling inside his bag to pull out a red Lucky Money envelope. You knew your pocket money. There's only one bill in here. If you want any more, even your dad's hands are tied. I quickly snatched the red envelope and shoved it into my pocket with a slap. Money? Gross. Talking about money ruins the vibe, Dad. Saying too much just harms our father-son bond. My dad lost his mind on the spot. Fine, get it back so I can borrow it then. I dodged the topic, pivoting immediately. Dad, look at this picture. Doesn't it look just like me back in the day? Let's adopt it. What do you think, Dad? Wait, hold on. My dad suddenly interrupted. From the plastic bag he was carrying the whole time, he abruptly hoisted out a massive, bright yellow creature. The creature you were talking about. Is it this one? Does it look similar to the picture, even in the slightest? The creature in Dad's hands was at least 10 kilograms heavier than the one in the photo. I stared at the fat, runaway menace as it was hoisted by the scruff of its neck with one hand by my massive, muscular dad. It tucked its tail in guilt, leaving me completely frozen in place. The cat let out a desperate, miserable meow. Hearing the commotion, my mom stormed right out, standing in the middle of the hallway with both hands on her hips, roaring, "Fang Yuan, is this the cat? Is this even a cat? That was skin and bones that you felt so deeply for. Its neck is so fat it's practically folded in." Fortunately, this chunky, feline menace was a born master of flattery. With just a few wiggles, it had my dad grinning from ear to ear, thanks to my dad's forceful intervention, combined with my thick-skinned, persistent begging. My mom finally had to turn a blind eye, grudgingly agreeing to let this cat crash temporarily, to brush off any bad luck clinging to it. My mom waved her hand and declared its official name, Fat Choi. Fat Choi understood the rules of survival perfectly. The second my mom called out this name, it instantly wagged its bushy tail excitedly, waddling right over to rub against her legs, enthusiastically letting my mom pet and pamper it till nightfall. I texted Bai Ningbing to ask how on earth this cat ended up in my dad's hands in the first place. Bai Ningbing replied with a quick voice note. He was dead set on scratching at the door to get out, so I planned to take him downstairs for a quick stroll. Who knew that right as we left the apartment complex, he went hyperactive, slipping straight into the mesh bag of a middle-aged uncle walking by. I had no idea that was your dad back then, and it wasn't cool to just dash up and snatch him back. So I had to stealthily tail him the entire way. Turns out I watched him march straight into your house. Holding my phone, I burst out laughing on the spot. My dad is usually pretty absent-minded anyway. He probably just felt his bag get a bit heavier, without even bothering to look down and check what kind of burden was inside. My fingers flew across the screen as I replied. Guess you could call that fate. Stumbling blindly right into a win saved me the hassle of sneaking him into the house. Bai Ningbing fired back another text right away. So, can I drop by your place to visit him in the future? After all, I was his temporary owner for a few days, wasn't I? I glanced at the shift schedule and calculated the timing in my head. No problem. On weekdays when my parents are out at work, feel free to swing by whenever you want. Bai Ningbing replied, Awesome. Get some rest early then. Good night. That final voice note. Her tone was soft and tender, as if she were whispering right in my ear, slightly raspy, yet overwhelmingly intoxicating. Listening to it made my ears tingle unnaturally. Possessed by who knows what demon, I actually went ahead and saved that audio snippet. Listen, it's definitely not because I have any shady motives toward the school bell, all right? It's strictly because her voice just sounds incredibly soothing to listen to. Entirely because this voice sounds so incredibly soothing and comforting to the ears. The next day, I slept in until I woke up naturally. The second I picked up my phone, the class group chat was already exploding with notifications. Hot gossip alert. The second brave warrior, bold enough to confess to Bai Ningbing. This new year has officially made his move. Speaking of which, what happened to that dude from the other day? Did he just vanish into thin air already? Listen, I went to high school with Bai Ningbing, ever since 10th grade. The line of her suitors was long enough to stretch all the way to the Eiffel Tower. Have you guys ever seen her give any of them the time of day? Dude, she's had a white moonlight red string in her heart for ages. Grabbing my popcorn, spill the tea. Who on earth is this mysterious white moonlight? Same question. Who is this white moonlight? Below was a massive flood of messages from everyone. At first, seeing the chat mentioned the confession page, my heart skipped a frantic beat. But the moment I saw those 3 words, white moonlight, I instantly breathed a huge sigh of relief. Fully embracing my inner gossip monger, I clicked on the latest post on the confession page. This time, the poster didn't even bother staying anonymous. His ID was set to Bai Chuan. Looking at his profile pic, he was a pretty scholarly-looking guy, The post contained only a single, insanely arrogant line. By Ningbing, I'm back. Right away, the gossip squad dug up all his dirt, unearthing Bai Chuan's personal profile, snapping a screenshot, and dumping it straight into the group chat. It was a photo taken from a boyfriend's perspective. Bai Ningbing looked gorgeously stunning in it. At that point, the entire group chat went into complete meltdown. Everyone scrambled to stamp their approval, confirming this guy was indeed the legendary, certified, white moonlight first love. I stared blankly at my phone screen as that weird, indescribable confusion in my heart instantly vanished into thin air. Back when she wanted to name the cat Fong Yuan, I actually deluded myself into thinking it was because of me. Now, everything made total sense when Bai Ningbing first added me as a friend. Why did she say those puzzling things? It was definitely because when I posted to find the cat's owner, I casually threw in a star symbol at the end of my message, which probably matched the texting habit of that white moonlight guy, causing her to mistake me for him. A few days later, Bai Ningbing actually gave me a call. The moment I picked up, I asked directly, "What's up?" Bai Ningbing's voice sounded pretty relaxed. "Are you at home?" "I'm nearby, so I thought I'd drop by to see the fat cat." Holding my phone, I took a quick walk around the house, confirming my dad had gone out for a stroll, while my mom was off on another mahjong conquest. The danger was officially cleared. I was the only one left in the house. Just head straight over. From the other end of the line, a soft giggle escaped Bai Ningbing's lips, and she hung up right after. It took me a few seconds to process what just happened. My words just now, combined with the current situation, sounded exactly like a secret, forbidden rendezvous behind my parents' backs. I slammed my hand against my forehead. Holy crap. Fong Yuan. Oh, Fong Yuan, this useless mouth of yours keeps spitting out the most misleading sentences. I chugged half a glass of ice water, just to cool down the burning heat flushing my face. Bai Ningbing arrived surprisingly fast. I didn't feel like asking where her house was located either. Too bad Fat Choi had already turned into a total clout chaser, completely ignoring his former owner. No matter how, Bai Ningbing tried teasing him with a cat toy. This fat menace snobbishly turned his head away, refusing to spare her even half a glance. Getting totally ghosted, Bai Ningbing had no choice but to turn to me. "I heard you gave him a new name." Calling him Fat Choi? She squatted down, forcefully scratching Fat Choi under the chin. So tacky. His old name sounded way better. My lips twitched slightly, and I decided not to pursue the topic any further. The atmosphere instantly froze over in a split second. Fortunately, Bai Ningbing didn't linger for too long either. As she prepared to leave, she pulled out an exquisitely crafted peace charm from her coat pocket and handed it to me. The warm winter sunlight beamed down onto her jet black hair. She nonchalantly toyed with the red string attached to the charm. "A few days ago, I went to the temple for the New Year's blessing. They said this thing is super effective. Thanks a lot. Sorry to make you spend money. I reached out to take it. Didn't you ask for one for yourself?" Bai Ningbing waved her hand dismissively, acting like she couldn't care less. "As long as you stay safe, that's all that matters." She casually pulled the anti-theft security door shut behind her, instantly cutting off both the warm sunlight and her graceful silhouette outside. I squeezed the peace charm tightly in my palm, my heart pounding like crazy, completely out of control, as if someone were violently beating a war drum inside my chest. It's definitely just an illusion. Overthinking it. I'm overthinking way too much. I massaged my tight, breathless chest, turning around to pour myself another half glass of ice-cold water. By the afternoon, the class group chat began spamming notifications like crazy again. I clicked in to take a look. Oh boy, brave warrior. Number 3 stepping up to sacrifice himself on the confession page this new year had officially made his entrance. But this time was totally different. It literally set the entire school forum ablaze. Because this time, it was that exact account named Bai Chuan, straight up launching a massive, high-profile confession to Bai Ningbing. In the group chat, someone once again dug up a photo believed to be of Bai Chuan. The guy in the photo was tall and slender, with strikingly handsome facial features, standing right beside Bai Ningbing, looking straight out of a classic youth romance drama. I casually tossed the peace charm into my desk drawer. So it turns out she had been waiting for this guy all along. The afternoon sunlight slowly faded away into dusk, and the temperature in the room began to plunge. I scooped up Fat Choi, who was dozing off lazily, and tucked him into the warm blankets. Looking at his silly, sleeping, but I let out a heavy sigh. Listen here, Fat Choi. Your real mom's white moonlight has made his comeback. She probably won't have time to come visit you anymore. Meow, he licked his paws with complete indifference, staring at me with wide, frog-like eyes. I couldn't resist ruffling up his chubby little head. Tomorrow I'll buy you a few cans of meat paste. Even if your mom forgets all about you in the future, you better not forget your brother here, got it? The second he heard the word meat paste, Fat Choi instantly snapped wide awake, shamelessly nuzzling his head against my palm. From that day on, Bai Ningbing surprisingly never brought up the idea of visiting my house to see the cat again, while Fat Choi completely claimed my bed as his own personal territory, executing a full combo every single night. And every single night, executing a devastating combo, expertly opening the door by himself and leaping onto the bed. With nothing to do during winter break, boredom got the best of me, so I spent all my time scrolling through the campus forum just to kill time. Out of the top 10 hottest posts on the forum, a staggering 8 of them were all gossiping about Bai Ningbing and that white moonlight guy named Bai Chuan. Someone even swore on their life that they randomly ran into the two of them at the shopping mall, describing the guy as tall and handsome, while she was cool and elegantly stunning. Walking together, they were literally a match made in heaven, just like a god and goddess coming straight into real life. Reading through these descriptions, I suddenly found myself getting super curious about Bai Ningbing's past, so I clicked right into the Alumni Association's featured post section. Damn, this featured section read like an entire autobiography of Bai Ningbing's life. From middle school all the way to university, every single glorious achievement of this legendary girl had been dug up completely. Someone claiming to be her middle school classmate exposed some drama, saying that because Bai Ningbing was dangerously attractive, she was constantly isolated by other girls back in middle school. That was why her personality turned so cold and icy, always preferring to be a lone wolf. And if anyone messed with her, she'd clap back instantly. As for university, there wasn't any complex reason. It was purely because her visuals were insanely sharp. Not only was she gorgeous, but she had this ethereal aura that captivated both guys and girls alike. I reached out to pinch Fat Choi's double chin. Your real mom is a total superstar at school. Huh? Of course, I didn't believe 100 of the online drama floating around the internet. But after reading through those posts, I came to one rock-solid conclusion. Bai Ningbing and that Bai Chuan guy really were an incredible match. As for me, annoyed, I pulled the blanket completely over my head. Why the hell am I even thinking about this nonsense? At best, Bai Ningbing and I were just cat co-parents. Calling us regular friends was already a stretch. I was truly bored out of my mind, sitting here overthinking someone else's love life. Another dull, uneventful week dragged by, and aside from that pig-like menace, Fat Choi gaining yet another kilogram, my winter break was completely drowning in utter boredom. Getting way too suffocated staying at home, I decided to grab a movie ticket on my phone, planning to catch a New Year comedy flick all by myself. Right before showtime, I dashed over to the concession stand to line up for popcorn. By the time I held my bucket and headed inside, the movie had already finished its opening scene. It was pitch black inside the theater, forcing me to hunch over and cautiously step up each stair to locate my seat in the very back row. As I brushed past the seat by the aisle, I accidentally tripped right over a pair of long legs sticking out, just when I thought I was about to perform a tragic faceplant right in front of the entire cinema. A slightly chilly hand firmly caught hold of my arm. As soon as I regained my balance, I heard a familiar voice call out. Turning around, I was instantly greeted by a pair of eyes filled with utter surprise. It was Bai Ningbing. How come you're watching a movie all by yourself, too? I sharply picked up on the keyword, too, glancing at the empty seat beside her. Not a single sign of that legendary white moonlight guy anywhere. Didn't your white moonlight, Bai Chuan, come with you? Bai Ningbing raised her eyebrow. I asked you first. Lowering my voice, I muttered under my breath. Well, I'm a single dog if I don't go alone. Am I supposed to hire a date or something? The movie quickly reached its climax scene, and Bai Ningbing pointed up at the massive screen, dropping the topic right then and there. Honestly speaking, the movie was genuinely hilarious. But sitting right next to Bai Ningbing like this, that familiar scent of hers kept creeping in, leaving no escape whatsoever. It was still that sweet citrus aroma, blended with a crisp, refreshing mint. Not overpowering at all, yet acting like a tiny hook pulling in my nose constantly. Every time I tilted my head, even slightly, that scent became instantly more pronounced, until an middle-aged uncle, sitting in our row, stood up to use the restroom, when Bai Ningbing suddenly leaned in close, whispering a question right into my ear. I wanted to ask you last time, why do you always love sniffing and twitching your nose like a puppy? Whenever you see me, I honestly thought my little movements were super subtle. Who knew I'd get called out on the spot like that? My remaining fake, cool guy pride instantly flushed bright crimson red. Bai Ningbing might actually end up thinking I have some sick, perverted fetish or obsession. I mean, what normal college guy goes around sticking his face close to sniff another person's body scent? No way. I had to salvage whatever little dignity I had left. You're overthinking it. It's just that I thought the perfume you're wearing smells pretty nice. So I was planning to ask for the brand to get a bottle for myself. That's all. Man, this lame excuse was literally the definition of digging my own grave. The more I defended myself, the worse it looked. Bai Ningbing let out a soft chuckle after hearing that teasingly, without even bothering to name the perfume, and turned back to continue watching the movie. For the entire second half of the movie, I sat there like I was sitting on a bed of hot coals, barely enduring until the end credits finally rolled. I didn't even have a clue how the story actually ended. The moment I stood up, preparing to make a quick escape, Bai Ningbing called out to stop me from behind. I froze completely in my tracks. Huh? She looked at me, her eyes twinkling brightly. The perfume's name is Miss You. The theater lights suddenly turned bright, and I awkwardly threw back a quick thanks, before blending like a thief into the dispersing crowd, running for dear life all the way home. I was such an idiot. Actually searching up that Miss You perfume name. The result? I didn't find a damn thing. I flipped Taobao upside down, searched JD.com, and finally even used Baidu to look it up. There was literally no citrus mint scented perfume on the entire market with that name at all. Bai Ningbing just casually made up a story to trick me. But why on earth did she do that? I held my phone, hesitating for half a day, and ultimately deleted the confronting text message I had just typed out. What if she genuinely misremembered the real name? What if she just didn't feel like sharing it with me? So she casually tossed out a random name to brush me off, playing the detective and pressing her for answers. Would only make me look like a petty, narrow-minded guy, feeling super frustrated inside. I took out all my pent-up annoyance on Fat Choi, furiously ruffling his fat, fluffy coat of fur. My dad stepped through the door, coming home from work, seeing Fat Choi ruffled by me into a wild Rambutan ball, and brutally sang out, mocking Fat Choi, "You changing up your hairstyle today, or what?" Guilt-ridden, I smoothed his fur back down for him. My dad strolled right over, tossing an envelope containing 2 all-inclusive amusement park tickets onto the table. "My friend gave these to me. Stop staying cooped up inside the house gathering dust. Find a classmate and go out to blow off some steam." Completely ignoring my dad's wildly signaling eyes, I picked up the tickets and inspected them for a bit. Hilarious, 2 grown dudes inviting each other to an amusement park. That cringeworthy visual sent chills down my spine, so I decisively opened up a second-hand trading app and casually listed the 2 tickets for sale. In under 2 minutes, someone closed the deal in the blink of an eye. Since they were e-tickets with QR codes, I took a screenshot and sent them directly to the buyer. The buyer was super polite, replying right back with a rose sticker. 2 days later, Bai Ningbing suddenly sent me a voice message. "Are you free tomorrow? Want to go to the amusement park together?" My eyelid twitched uncontrollably, a dark, ominous foreboding surging in my heart. "Don't tell me you're planning on going to Happy Valley?" Bai Ningbing replied in a second. "Whoa, you're like a psychic." With trembling hands, I clicked on the profile of the ticket buyer from the other day. The profile showed female, local, height 172 centimeters, mystery solved. This was 100 Bai Ningbing's alt account. Women truly are born master liars. But when it comes to Their height, they never cap. Tall girls filling out their profiles. Can't help but bold and highlight their height in bright red. They'd absolutely never leave it blank. Wait, what's going on with me? Making money doing literally nothing. Not only did I pocket the ticket sales money for free, but I also get to go wild at the amusement park, and even end up on a date with the school belle in the process. Even though this deal was an absolute steal, I still had a tiny shred of sanity remaining. I firmly turned down by Ningbing's invitation, even acting like a wise, caring big sister, giving her a whole lecture of heartfelt advice. A place like an amusement park. You should go with that guy. By Chuan, who you've been pining for. Not with me. Bai Ningbing's text reply came back at light speed. Who on earth told you Bai Chuan is my boyfriend? Thump, thump, thump. I swear on my life. My heart was beating so loudly right then it could wake up the whole neighborhood. I swallowed hard. Continuing to play dumb, stop playing innocent, the entire school knows Bai Chuan is your precious white moonlight. Bai Ningbing sounded so pissed, she actually burst out laughing in the voice note. Background noise bustling behind her. Last time when I climbed out of your house window to leave, I clearly asked if you liked me or not. Yet even until right now, you still haven't given me a proper answer. How the hell was I supposed to respond to that? Don't tell me Bai Ningbing is actually a total green tea player. Clearly her official white moonlight made a high-profile comeback. Yet here, she was running over to flirt with me, clenching the edges of my phone case. I gritted my teeth and sent back a stern reality check if your white moonlight already posted a claim. Ownership over you. Then, as a taken woman, you better keep your distance from other guys. I thought my words sounded super firm and resolute. Who would have guessed Bai Ningbing would throw a direct video call straight at me, startled half to death. My hand slipped, and I accidentally hit the accept button. The phone screen shook wildly for a few seconds, and immediately right after, on the screen, appeared a man's face wearing gold-rimmed glasses, exuding a refined, yet dangerously charming vibe. Greetings, Brother Fong Yuan. Let me introduce myself. I'm Bai Chuan. Without a shadow of a doubt, this was indeed that legendary, certified, white moonlight currently taking the school forum by storm. However, looking at this guy, as long as your brain wasn't totally waterlogged, anyone could tell right away that the two of them were definitely blood-related. Staring blankly at the screen for 2 full seconds, I timidly asked, forgive me for being so blunt. Are you and Bai Ningbing actual siblings? Bai Chuan pushed his glasses up his nose bridge, smiling like a warm spring breeze. Siblings? No, no, no. I'm her older brother. Like how you are. From outside the frame, a hand abruptly reached over and snatched the phone away. Bai Ningbing's slightly irritated face popped in the camera. We're Dragon Phoenix twins. That's all. Don't listen to his rambling, nonsensical nonsense. Bai Chuan, from the side, let out a mocking laugh that sounded exceptionally punchable. My heart felt like it was riding a wild roller coaster, plummeting up and down, but at this exact moment, it finally settled obediently back inside my chest. You're Fong Yuan, right? Bai Chuan's face squeezed back into the frame. This unlucky younger sister of mine usually must have caused you a ton of trouble, huh? I apologize on her behalf. However, my friend, I'm a straightforward guy, so I'll just ask you directly. Would you be willing to date my sister with marriage as the end goal? I completely petrified on the spot, my jaw dropping open as I uttered a dumbfounded, confused huh? Bai Ningbing instantly pushed the phone away from her face. Yet her off-screen banter leaked straight into my ears crystal clear. She gritted her teeth in a low growl. Are you out of your mind? Don't scare him away. Hold on a second, lady. Shouldn't you be refuting that completely insane marriage proposal? First, this reaction of yours is making me even more utterly confused. You know that? Bai Chuan's confident and smug tone rang out once again. What the hell do you even know about psychology? This is called the door-in-the-face effect. You gotta throw out an outrageous marriage demand first. That makes him feel it's completely unreasonable and super awkward. And only then do you take a step back to ask him to be your boyfriend instead. Only through comparison can he see the difference. So he'll feel like just dating isn't really that hard to accept after all. Wow, what a devilish genius logic. I bow down in absolute defeat. Left completely speechless, I weakly chimed in through the phone. To be honest, I heard every single word of that crystal clear. The sibling duo in the video went dead silent instantly. Bai Ningbing gripped her phone, steady once again, staring directly into my eyes through the screen, her earlobes turning suspiciously bright red. Are we going to the amusement park tomorrow or not? I've got a few things I want to tell you face to face. Right after saying that, her gaze suddenly flicked past me, landing straight on Fat Choi's sprawling, sleeping body. Sprawled out right behind me. Wait, why is this pig cat sprawled out on your bed again? I instinctively wrapped my arms around Fat Choi's chubby head to shield him. If he doesn't sleep on the bed, where else is he supposed to sleep? Besides, in weather this freezing, just treat him like a natural living. Hot water bottle. Bai Ningbing narrowed her eyes dangerously. They were both loot you brought back home. Isn't your double standard a little too obvious? I boldly hurled her own original words right back at her to defend myself. Big sister, you said it yourself. The cat can belong to me, but the person can't. On the other end of the line, Bai Chuan's gloating, snickering laughter echoed softly in the background. Bai Ningbing took a deep breath, her eyes flaring with intense possessiveness, gritting her teeth as she forced out every single word. I regret saying that. Tell that fat cat to get lost tomorrow. I belong to you. The amusement park on Sunday was bathed in brilliant sunshine, except the biting wind, sweeping across at barely 10 degrees, blew my sanity. Straight out the window, wrapped in a super thick, heavy down jacket. The moment I stepped out of the hallway, the cold northwest wind slapped me straight across the face, begging me to turn right back around. By the time I rolled up looking like a bundled up bear, right on time at the amusement park entrance, I discovered Bai Ningbing was actually wearing nothing more than a thin, long black wool coat. Underneath the coat, she was just wearing a pair of seamless sheer skin tights, looking completely out of place in a sea of thick puffer jackets. Frowning, I marched over to her. Bai Ningbing, are you really prioritizing fashion over survival? Aren't you freezing? The stubborn girl tightly pursed, her lips that were already turned painfully pale from the cold. It's usually pretty tolerable. As the two of us turned to head toward the ticket checkpoint, a fierce gust of wind blew right past us. Unable to hold it in, Bai Ningbing let out a massive sneeze, totally destroying her cool, elegant image. Istir daher, utterly speechless. And you call this tolerable? Don't tell me we're going to end our date with a trip straight to the hospital ER for an 4-drip. Heading straight to the hospital to get hooked up to an 4-drip. Seriously, I just cannot wrap my head around the sheer insanity of going to play outdoor amusement. Rides in the dead, freezing cold of winter. Riding a roller coaster in weather like this, by the time you step down, you'd probably turn straight into an ice sculpture, ready to be put on display. Yet, right at this very moment, Bai Ningbing was apparently feeling reckless, pointing her finger toward the distant roller coaster tracks. Want to go give that a shot? 3 dark anime lines immediately ran down my face. Are we literally gambling our lives away just to go on a date? Do you think you've lived too long? Or do you think the biting wind isn't freezing enough? After getting rejected by me in dead silence, Bai Ningbing showed a visibly disappointed expression. Then what do you want to ride? The giant pendulum, the screaming pirate ship, the freefall drop tower, or the carousel? I cut off her suicidal menu reading with a completely deadpan face. Today, I only feel like riding that one. Needless to say, in this entire amusement park, that was the one and only attraction located indoors with proper heating. In the end, Bai Ningbing and I each mounted a white plastic carousel horse, blending right in with the ear-splitting screams of the kids all around us. I pulled out my phone and secretly snapped a joint picture of the two of us looking super awkward because Bai Ningbing's legs were way too long. She had nowhere to tuck them, so she had to awkwardly dangle them squeezed against the horse's sides. This sight genuinely looked so hilariously pitiful, even though the indoor heating was super warm and cozy, and I really wanted to sit there a bit longer. Out of consideration for her experience, I still had to drag her over to ride the spinning teacups right next door. For the entire morning, we completely swept through all the mild, gentle indoor rides while I went to buy drinks. Bai Ningbing handed me a 2-scoop ice cream cone. Did you have fun today? Taking the ice cream, I smiled and replied, I had a blast. Weren't you having fun? She lowered her eyes, staring down at the tips of her shoes. I mean, yeah, I had fun. But it just feels like something's missing. Taking a huge bite out of my ice cream, I chuckled. Missing what exactly? Did the cold freeze your brain, or something? That's not it. She lifted her head, her eyes filled with resentment as she stared out at the outdoor roller coaster. Before coming here, I did a ton of research. I originally planned to invite you on the roller coaster, the pirate ship, and the haunted house. Those rides are totally thrilling, and if I got scared, you could rightfully step up to protect me, showing me your ultimate chivalrous side, right? She hesitated for a brief moment, before adding another bitterly dissatisfied line. At the very least, it'd prove that I'm way more charming than that fat cat who does nothing but eat and sleep all day. My eyes widened in absolute shock. What in the world is this? A Dom CEO script for a forced kiss straight out of those old-school melodramas? Yet looking at Bai Ningbing's dead serious, incredibly earnest face self-reflecting, I suddenly found this ridiculous Gapmo contrast surprisingly kinda hilarious. Seeing me stay silent for way too long, Bai Ningbing pursed her lips, feeling slightly upset. Sorry. Did my grand plan end up ruining the whole vibe? How about we go ride the Ferris wheel? Both of us blurted out in perfect unison. The second the words left my mouth, as if terrified I'd escape halfway, she immediately grabbed the sleeve of my heavy puffer coat and dragged me straight toward the gigantic Ferris wheel. The Ferris wheel cabin, suspended high up in midair, swayed gently in the biting cold wind. As the cabin slowly rose to the absolute highest peak, I couldn't help glancing downward for a second, and my knees instantly began shaking like crazy. Fang Yuan, do you know why so many people love confessing their feelings on a Ferris wheel? Bai Ningbing, sitting directly across from me, abruptly broke the silence, before my brain could even process the question. Huh? Because it's romantic, obviously. Why else? She pointed her hand toward the scenery hundreds of meters above the ground outside the window. From a psychological perspective, when confronted with fear like extreme heights, the body instinctively secretes a massive rush of adrenaline. This physiological reaction, caused by sheer terror, can easily be misjudged by the brain as a completely different emotion. It is dangerously easy for the human brain to mistake for a completely different emotion, like romantic butterflies, thrilling excitement, or that heart-pounding sensation. That's why so many people, under the influence of the suspension bridge effect, will mistake this physical arousal for actual true love. A sudden light bulb went off in my head. So right from the start, you desperately insisted on dragging me onto that roller coaster and into the haunted house just to calculate this. Bai Ningbing nodded calmly. It's just that my tricks were way too cheap and petty. I shouldn't always try to take shortcuts and play clever games. Actually, I think your theory has a flaw, I countered. I leaned forward toward the frost-covered glass window, using my finger to casually draw a circle. Environmental triggers do influence a person's judgment, but I believe this special atmosphere doesn't necessarily create an illusion. More likely, it grants them the courage to finally speak up. People who manage to successfully confess on a Ferris wheel definitely aren't just blindly blinded by an adrenaline surge. Long before even stepping up here, they'd already made up their mind deep down inside. They just needed a tiny extra push of courage for that final decisive strike, that's all. Bai Ningbing stared at me intently, remaining dead silent for a long moment until a creepy freak gust of wind blew past, making the cabin sway gently once again. She suddenly reached out her hand and tightly grasped mine. I've never lacked the courage to confess to you. I was only terrified that being too blunt would scare you off. Fang Yuan, will you be my boyfriend? Please? Being confessed to isn't something to be scared of, right? Yet when I stop to think about it, if an icy, arrogant, aloof school belle who shared zero prior history or connection with me suddenly ran up to confess her love, literally anyone would feel like they were stuck in a dream. Bai Ningbing's stunningly beautiful eyes reflected my clear figure inside them. But honestly, what on earth do you even like about me? I couldn't hold back the burning question in my heart any longer. Her hand holding mine gently loosened up, slackening slightly as she parted her lips. Yet not a single word managed to escape. Is this question really that hard to answer? Or are you just using me as a toy for your own amusement? Just another form of entertainment to kill time during your winter break. I didn't want to use such dark, bitter thoughts to judge the school belle, but her overly eager moves, along with those seductive, flirty tricks, came way too abruptly. It was completely, utterly illogical. I admit I was slightly swayed by her drop-dead gorgeous looks. But as a real man, I couldn't just see a pretty girl dig a pit and blindly jump right into it. The Ferris wheel completed its full rotation, slowly descending back toward the ground. I let out a soft sigh, taking the initiative to step back. There's no rush for this. How about you head back and think it over carefully first? Whenever you figure it out, giving me an answer then won't be too late. Just a moment ago, she was boldly bragging, claiming she never lacked the courage. And now look who went completely dead silent. A woman's words are pure deception. I turned around to step out of the cabin, but before my foot even touched the ground, my wrist was once again firmly grabbed by Bai Ningbing. Tossing aside her usual calm composure, her voice carried a rare, visible trace of sheer anxiety. The cat was something I deliberately went out to find. The cat's name was also completely made up by me. And that day during the ring toss, I intentionally leaned right in because I've had a crush on you for a really long time. Bai Ningbing and I sat side by side on a long bench inside the indoor rest area. Back then, didn't you used to frequently go to the pavilion at the old campus to feed stray cats? All the time, I accidentally ran into you a few times. Bai Ningbing's voice was soft and slow. After bumping into you so many times, every single time I passed by that spot afterward, I'd instinctively stop in my tracks, searching around to see if you were there. Then one time, while chasing after an energetic little orange cat, you crashed headfirst straight into me. Back. Then you looked so dazed, staring blankly at me for a long time, with both your ears turning bright red. Ever since that day, I thought to myself, is this kid actually crushing on me? To be completely honest, these heavily narcissistic statements, if said by someone with average looks, would sound way less charming if someone with slightly worse looks said it. I definitely would have cringed hard enough with my toes to build an entire Barbie castle, right on the spot. After all, at our school, the people secretly crushing on Bai Ningbing could literally line up from the south gate all the way to the north gate. However, I swear to God, back then I was purely stunned by her drop-dead, gorgeous visual. That's it. It was 100 just. Pure appreciation for top-tier beauty. Bai Ningbing let out a slightly self-deprecating smile. Afterward, when winter came and the weather turned freezing, all the stray cats crawled into the basement to seek shelter from the cold. You also came to the pavilion way less often, but I was still like a clock, wandering around that spot every single day right on time, just hoping to bump into you by chance one more time. Day after day passed like that, and I suddenly realized maybe I had already completely fallen for you. I began digging around for news about you everywhere, learning you loved going to Canteen Number 1 for pull noodles, knowing which days you had your major classes, and knowing even better that you were a hardcore cat addict. That's why I specifically went to the animal shelter to adopt an orange kitten. Even if you hadn't tossed that ring onto my head that day, I still would have found a way to secretly leave that cat right in front of your doorstep and then pretend my cat had gotten lost, just to coincidentally run into you. I couldn't help bowing down in respect. This supposedly icy, unreachable school belle turned out to be a master strategist with insanely deep schemes behind the scenes. After hearing this meticulously planned confession, as a guy, my entire face burned scorching hot. So it turns out, that day when she kept subtly teasing and mocking me on WeChat, it was actually about that time I crashed into her. Yet I had tossed that incident straight to the high heavens ages ago. What do you call this? The school belle's overactive imagination completely walking herself into the love trap. After parting ways at the amusement park, Bai Ningbing said she wouldn't force me and would give me time to think. Yet right now inside my head, the thing tormenting me wasn't whether I should date her or not, but rather I was having an absolute headache, wondering how on earth I was going to open my mouth to tell her that those 2 astronomically overpriced amusement park tickets were actually scalped and resold to her by me. I tested the waters by sending a few blackmail-worthy photos. Of Fat Choi passed out cold like a slaughtered pig to gauge the mood. And Bai Ningbing replied at literal warp speed. How far along are you with your consideration? I silently deleted the line in my draft box where I admitted to scalping those tickets, replacing it with a completely different text. Still just a tiny bit short. Bai Ningbing shot back with absolute, overbearing dominance. Tonight, you're strictly forbidden from letting that fat cat climb onto your bed again. I had no choice but to thicken my skin and type out the message. Actually, I messaged you because I wanted to confess something. The thing is, those 2 amusement park tickets you paid a fortune to buy. That scalper who resold them to you was actually me. This time, the other side went silent for so long that I panicked. After a full, nerve-wracking 10 minutes, Bai Ningbing finally replied, "Isn't that even better? It just proves the 2 of us were literally made for each other." Her very next voice message exuded a crystal-clear, fake innocent green tea vibe. Student Fang Yuan, just how much longer are you planning to test me? While waiting for your answer, I haven't been able to eat or sleep properly for days. Coming back from the amusement park, I even caught a terrible cold, and now I'm practically wasting away. To skin and bones. Haha. At first, listening to her made me feel a bit guilty. But the more I listened, why did this exact script sound so ridiculously familiar? Without a second thought, I immediately exposed her right on the spot. Big sister, isn't this literally the exact same script you taught me back then to trick my mom into adopting Fat Choi? Bai Ningbing let out a cold humph through the phone. I'm not tricking you. My current situation right now is 100 times more pitiful than that raggedy cat of yours. I don't know if the keyword raggedy cat truly triggered some kind of automatic defense system, but Fat Choi, who had been lying on his back purring, suddenly turned his body around and flopped down hard, landing his massive but squarely right onto my phone screen, regardless of how many messages Bai Ningbing bombarded from the other side. Fat Choi remained as steady as a rock, refusing to budge. By even a single millimeter, he leisurely hoisted his hind leg, licked his fur a few times, and then gave a sharp kick, sending my phone flying straight under the bed. With a loud thud. And then, acting as if nothing had ever happened, it curled back up in my arms, purring with utter contentment. One human and one cat created a ridiculously dramatic palace intrigue battle for my affection. Half an hour later, Bai Ningbing, persistent as ever, used her master monkey climbing skills to scale onto my balcony once again. She grabbed Fat Choi by the scruff of his fateful neck, delivering a stern warning. You listen here. From now on, you better behave yourself in this house and know your place. Fat Choi immediately puffed up his fur, hissing wildly. Bai Ningbing furrowed her brows tightly. You ungrateful little traitor. Do you even remember who your actual birth mother is? The only response she got was a sharp, lightning-fast kitty paw strike from Fat Choi. I hurriedly rushed over to break up this insanely tense showdown between human and cat, letting out a helpless sigh. Lady, next time you come over, could you please just use the front door for once? Hearing this, Bai Ningbing's eyes, which were initially cold and icy, instantly curved into beautiful crescent moons. You promised it yourself? Okay. That means I still have the chance to camp out at your place next time. Cold sweat broke out on my forehead, her ability to twist. My words is truly second to none. I turned around toward my desk drawer to grab a bottle of povidone iodine to disinfect the scratch on the back of her hand. Accidentally, my eyes caught sight of the safety amulet lying neglected in the corner. I gently ran my fingers over the red string on the amulet, and as I pushed the drawer back in and turned around, I crashed headfirst right into Bai Ningbing. Holy crap, are you a cat or something? How can you walk without making a single sound? Sorry about that. She braced both hands on the edge of the desk, right behind me. I guess I caught Fat Choi's clingy disease. Every time I see you, I just want to stick as close to you as possible, wishing that your eyes would reflect no one else but me. That familiar, addicting blend of citrus and cool mint aggressively hit my senses. Instinctively, I reached out to firmly hold her shoulders. Big sister, your late-night seduction speed is way too intense. An innocent male, college student like me really can't handle this level of heat. Bai Ningbing obediently took half a step back. So, student Fan Yuan, what do you think? Our current progress should rationally be at. Rationally my ass. My completely rusty, laggy brain finally reloaded the data, and I suddenly realized a major, critical loophole. Wait a second. I haven't even uttered a single word of agreement to date her yet, but right as I open my mouth to talk back, Bai Ningbing instantly covered my mouth lightning fast. Show this poor girl a little mercy, will you? Because of you, I couldn't eat my meals and couldn't close my eyes at night. On top of that, I was unlucky enough to get clawed to shreds by that vicious cat. So hurry up and take responsibility for me. The spot pressed against her palm felt burning hot like fire. I darted my eyes around nervously, simply not daring to look straight into her eyes. Not until I felt cold sweat dripping continuously down the back of my neck did I helplessly nod in total surrender. Only then did she release her hand. Looking thoroughly satisfied, I immediately added another line. Let's get the harsh rules straight first, okay? Fat Choi and I hold the exact same firm stance on this matter. Now that you're with me, you're strictly forbidden from flirting with any of those stray cats outside whenever you go out. The corners of Bai Ningbing's mouth were practically grinning from ear to ear. I gave up on those a long time ago. Last time, it was only because I was worried Fat Choi was too dumb. So I went to casually scout around to see if there was a smarter backup plan. That's all. I couldn't hold back a burst of laughter. Stop bad-mouthing our Fat Choi. He's a top-tier golden baron, the absolute smartest in the entire world. Glancing at Fat Choi's body, as round as a giant millstone, I genuinely didn't have the face to use the word tiny to describe him. Bai Ningbing muttered, whatever you say goes. In the blink of an eye, she ruthlessly grabbed Fat Choi by the scruff and tossed him plop right into his cat bed. Out in the living room, listen up loud and clear. Starting today, I'm the only one allowed to climb onto Fan Yuan's bed. Got that? Fat Choi's anger reached an absolute boiling point, screaming at the top of his lungs, meow, meow, meow. Right after that, right in front of Bai Ningbing, without any hesitation whatsoever, he peed right outside his litter box. I held back my laughter so hard my stomach cramped. Bai Ningbing's face darkened, getting ready to make a move to enforce household discipline right on the spot, when suddenly, the main door was suddenly burst open by someone outside. My dad froze mid-step, petrified on the spot, right at the threshold. Terrified out of my mind, I panicked, Dad, listen to my excuse first. It's really not what you think it is. My dad rubbed his eyes, his expression completely bewildered. Fan Yuan, tell me honestly, am I hallucinating right now? How did that fat cat you were raising suddenly transform into a living, breathing, gorgeous beauty like this? Extra Episode 1. Regarding that day my dad accidentally caught us. It turns out Bai Ningbing was lifting Fat Choi upside down with just one hand, and the cat's entire squished body was flattened like a pancake right against her forearm, leaving only its fluffy tail thrashing frantically in mid-air. Combined with my dad's blurry, bleary-eyed vision, a quick glance made him think Bai Ningbing had grown a cattail. It took exhausting every breath and drying out my throat to explain. This bizarre living cat turns into a human scenario. Only then did my dad, still covered in goosebumps, slump heavily into the sofa. Oh, dear Lord above. You almost scared this old man's heart right out his chest. After going back and forth for a while, my dad's razor-sharp glare was suddenly locked right onto Bai Ningbing. Wait a minute. I haven't asked yet, who might this young lady be? Thank God, thank heavens. My dad finally hit the actual nail on the head, just as I was about to open my mouth and lie, saying, she was just a classmate, Bai. Ningbing respectfully bowed at a perfect 90-degree angle. Hello, uncle. I'm Fan Yuan's girlfriend. My dad's thick, bushy eyebrows twisted together like thick ropes. You little brat, hiding things behind my back secretly. Getting a girlfriend. Since when? How come I didn't catch wind of this at all? Bai Ningbing maintained her flawlessly polite, standard smile. Ah, we actually just made it official today, uncle. My dad instantly snapped his head around, glaring at me with deadly sniper-like eyes. You little rascal. Confess everything to me right now. What on earth is the meaning of all this? Seeing the tension rising like a stretched bowstring, I secretly tugged on by Ningbing's sleeve and whispered, "How about you make it tactical? Retreat for today." The smile on by Ningbing's face instantly evaporated without a single trace remaining, her eyes shifting 180 degrees in a split second, switching directly into an utterly pitiful, heartbroken mode. "Fine. I'll listen to whatever you say. I understand. You've always looked down on me, thinking I'm not good enough compared to others, which is why you kept hesitating all this time, refusing to bring me home to meet your family. If it wasn't for Uncle accidentally catching us red-handed today. But sigh, it doesn't matter. As long as you have me in your heart. Even if I don't get an official title, I'll still be content." After putting on this tear-jerking dramatic masterpiece of a performance by Ningbing decisively turned on her heel, heading straight for the front door. I stood there completely stunned, with 10,000 question marks floating over my head, before I could even process that barrage of lethal, high damage. Word she just dropped. I saw my dad's face turn completely dark and grim, as he frantically whipped out his phone to call my mom. "Honey, come home right now. Your precious son played with an innocent girl's feelings, and now he's trying to cut and run. Like a total scumbag." That very evening, I was chased around the entire neighborhood by my mom holding a rolling pin, running for dear life. Even though my physical body emerged unscathed, my mental psyche suffered an absolute critical blow. Fong Yuan, when it comes to dating, your dad and I have always been open-minded, but a real man of our Fong family must have the spine to take responsibility for his actions. If you flirt with someone's daughter, you better take responsibility all the way to the end. Don't you dare imitate those trashy scumbags who drop old loves for new ones. Do you hear me? My mom stood beside him, panting heavily. It still didn't forget to gossip and pry. "So is that girl pretty or what?" My dad slapped his thigh with a loud boom and gave a giant thumbs up straight into the air. "Her visuals are a solid 10 out of 10 without question. Absolutely drop dead. Gorgeous." Hearing this, my mom finally nodded her head in utter satisfaction. "From now on, make sure you pay extra attention to her. Stop being such a stingy cheapskate all the time. Bring her home this weekend so I can cook a feast to treat her." I genuinely didn't know whether to laugh or cry. That night, furious, I dragged Fat Choi under the blanket with me and cursed out 18 generations of Bai Ningbing's ancestors from A to Z. Extra Episode 2, regarding Bai Chuan. Ever since Bai Ningbing and I officially started dating, it hadn't even been that long. Yet on the campus confession page, some thick-skinned guy was actually still chasing after her and confessing his love. However, even in my wildest dreams, I never would have expected that. The anonymous admin, who was constantly manipulating public opinion on the confession page, was actually none other than Bai Chuan himself. That day, Bai Chuan took the initiative to ask me out for a private coffee, right in front of my eyes. He posted a pinned, official announcement, grandly declaring Bai Ningbing's relationship status, along with a clarification post addressing all the drama surrounding her supposed white moonlight crush. With this masterstroke, he not only publicly let the entire university know that the school bell was officially taken, and that the lucky owner's name was Fong Yuan, but he also completely crushed those ridiculous, baseless rumors that treated her biological brother like her secret white moonlight. Bai Chuan elegantly took a sip of black coffee, resting his chin on one hand, while his sharp eyes behind his glasses exuded an unfathomably deep, cunning aura. "Fong Yuan, do you know about this ultra-powerful phenomenon? Male-female fraternal twins share a type of telepathy that is utterly terrifying. We actually have a very high chance of falling in love with the exact same person at the exact same time." I felt a sudden jolt of icy chill run straight down my spine, goosebumps breaking out all over my body. "Bro, stop scaring the hell out of me." Seeing me completely frozen on the spot, Bai Chuan suddenly burst in a loud laughter, immensely amused. Just joking around with you. I'm not that suicidal. To offer my life to that ferocious sister of mine, she'd literally beat me into a pulp. I could only force an awkward laugh to go along with him, trying to cover up my embarrassment. "All right. Are you so bored that you've turned to chaos? Why else would you go on the school forum and create that confession page just to show off?" Bai Chuan instantly flipped the script, shooting me a scorching side eye. completely shattering his elegant. You think I have nothing better to do than mess around with? Nonsense like that. It was all because Bai Ningbing put a knife to my throat and forced me to do it. It was all because Bai Ningbing pressured and forced me into it, forcing me to fork out serious cash to buy back the fan page from the previous administrator. That girl was terrified that she might miss the post you put on the wall to confess your feelings. I honestly can't wrap my head around it. She has a mouth, yet refused to say those cheesy words directly to your face, insisting on playing such unnecessarily convoluted games instead. The absolute peak was when she even made me create alt accounts to post cringy, flirtatious teasers to spark misunderstandings just to bait you and see if you get jealous. She's utterly beyond saving. Her love brain disease is in the absolute final stages. Listening to the full story behind this massive expose, I was completely defeated. To catch a handsome guy, Bai Ningbing's calculated netting scheme was practically on the level of a Hollywood blockbuster. Calling this accidentally walking into a love trap my ass. She clearly set up a massive snare to drag me straight into her cage. Though, thinking back carefully on it, in the end, the one who took the initiative to break down the defensive wall and utter the words of love first was still her, wasn't it? The thought process of a campus belle is something a mere mortal like me truly can't comprehend. Extra Episode 3, Newlywed Life. Bai Ningbing, can you please stop bullying Fat Choi? In the crack of dawn, I waddled into the kitchen with bedhead messy as a bird's nest to grab a drink. The second I poked my head out of the bedroom, I witnessed the lump of Fat Choi, who was blissfully curled up next to my pillow last night, getting cold-heartedly kicked out by someone into his lonely, chilly cat bed out in the living room. The moment he saw me groggily walking out, Fat Choi looked like he had struck pure gold. With a pair of big, round, pitiful puppy eyes, he let out needy meows, rubbing against me to snitch and complain nonstop. How heartbreaking. I had to feed him premium lickable treat pouches and give him a luxury feast while coaxing him, just to calm down my precious baby's rage. Right after that, I marched straight into the bedroom to confront the culprit, Bai Ningbing. The lady didn't even bother lifting her eyelids, only reaching one slender, snowy white arm out from under the blanket, lazily curling her fingers to beckon me over. Irritated, I stepped forward and ruthlessly whipped the blanket completely off her. Only then did Bai Ningbing finally, slowly open her eyes, stretching out her silk-soft arms, wrapping them tightly around my neck to violently pull me down on the mattress. Hubby, getting so fiery-tempered first thing in the morning, is going to cut your lifespan short, you know? Don't try to change the subject. Why you keep targeting Fat Choi like that? She buried her head into the crook of my neck, rubbing affectingly, her voice raspy and deep from just waking up. About our in-depth communication session last night. Those fiery, explicit scenes aren't suitable for minors. I only did it for the sake of Fat Choi's mental and physical health, so he doesn't go around corrupting innocent cats in the neighborhood. The moment she brought up last night's embarrassing antics, my face instantly flushed as red as a ripe fruit. I hurriedly pushed her arms away to protest. Cut the crap. Hurry up and get out of bed already. The grin on Bai Ningbing's lips curved up into a wicked, flirtatious smirk. Or does my hubby have some kind of special kink? HM, do you really prefer having a pair of cat eyes staring and locking onto us while we're exchanging intimate moves? Flustered and panicking, I reached out to cover her mouth, my face burning with ultimate embarrassment. Shut your mouth right now. The bedroom door, which had been slightly ajar, suddenly slammed shut with a deafening bang. Due to a strong gust of wind, the lock clicking firmly into place. Bai Ningbing seized the opportunity to pounce and pin me down onto the bed, amidst the tangled chaos and rapid, breathless gasps. A flicker of doubt flashed through my mind, as if I had just forgotten something massive and earth-shattering. Bai Ningbing, displeased by my distraction, gave my shoulder a gentle bite as a punishment. Focus on me. I let out a sharp, quiet gasp from the sting, and that minor, hazy thought was instantly blown away from my mind. Out in the living room, Fat Choi couldn't care less anymore, gazing at his food bowl that he had licked squeaky clean in sheer grief and surging rage. He raised one paw and sent the empty luxury treat box flying to the side. And a complete series. Thank you all for watching. End of the complete series. Thank you so much for watching.